and life is about change. And I think you've said it to me before. What was right for you perhaps last year may not be right for you this year, or with a certain person or a situation or even an event.
That's exactly right. You know, that growth that we go through, boundaries will change based on that as well.
Of course.
Because, you know, we're constantly changing, and that's why that reassessment of our needs, our likes, our dislikes, our values always needs to be happening.
Absolutely. Can I ask a quick question? What was the main struggle for you in reference to setting boundaries? Was it that you didn't feel that you could speak your truth, or you wanted to be liked, or you'd be upset if someone was cross with you? What was the main block, for lack of a better expression, that you had to personally clear in reference to that?
I think it was to do with by setting the boundaries, not being kind to others. So it was something to do with, if someone needs something from me, me putting up that boundary if I need to, because I have other things on, or, you know, my own needs I need to go to. It felt quite selfish. Yeah.
So you felt like you weren't a nice person by asserting yourself?
Or that selfish of putting my needs before others.
How interesting. I find this sociologically and anthropologically fascinating.
Do you?
I do. Yes. Because of, irrespective of whether this was in my social work setting or in my one-on-one setting or even as a teacher, I find that this is the case a lot for, and again, this is a sweeping statement and an overgeneralization, but it seems to affect women infinitely more than it affects men. Yeah, and irrespective of the culture that we come from, whether it's an Anglo-Saxon culture, a European culture, an Arabic culture, an Asian culture, we all seem to have this feeling of being selfish if we put our needs first, which is so ironic, because if we're not well looked after, and we know this intellectually because it makes sense, but then to be able to embody it in our everyday actions is a completely different story. Because if we're not filled up with what we need, what we extend to other people is going to deplete us. In fact, we're going to be in the corner on the back foot with our arms up, feeling so defensive, and we're not really going to be a great service.
Yes. Or a few circumstances I found myself in was just drained, because with the no boundaries and, you know, feeling like if you put your own needs first, that's a selfish act. So putting other people's needs first mean that you're constantly, you know, taking on other people's problems. And yeah, I remember just a number of occasions where I would just get to the end of the week and think, oh, I feel so drained. I don't feel like I've got anything left in the tank for me. And actually, it's so funny, because that would then bring out a frustration at those that have, what I saw at the time was taken my energy, although it was really me giving it.
Yes. And that's what the aura module in the Chakra Balance e-course is all about, managing your energy, managing your boundaries. That's so interesting that you said that, because I was just thinking about asking you about that. So as someone that runs a successful business and holds the space for sold out events, you embody the qualities of someone who has a very expansive aura, with a tremendous ability to manifest your dreams into reality, because you have a vested interest in seeing other people magnify their own light. But when we're out of balance, it stops us from doing that. And I want to touch on what you said before in reference to you giving energy versus feeling that others have taken it from you. And that comes back to the boundaries that you talked about. But can you share some experiences and some wisdom you might have around the giving and the receiving of energy?
Yes. So particularly at my events, for example, I think I feel so energized because I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
So there's a natural sort of energy within me because I'm excited about what we've created, and we've had that momentum building for, the months that we've been coming together for it. And I always feel like on the night, you're on cloud nine. It's just the most wonderful feeling.
It's blissful, isn't it?
It is. And the events that are about topics that are incredibly uplifting, I know I sort of carry that energy for quite a few weeks, which is wonderful, in my mind and in my body. But the events that are about, more tricky subjects, as someone who's quite empathetic, it's difficult not to just reflect upon, all the change that's happening in that room. So I have a bit of quiet time afterwards to make sure that I don't go away with it. But yeah, it's a natural part of the events that we do, actually, because it's such a roller coaster depending on what topic we're exploring.